My name is Liz Wilkerson. Thanks for taking the time to check out this video, and want to just explain to you the reason that I'm making this video and the reason I started this website, and just a little background about me and basically what I'm doing and what I'm going to be doing for you, hopefully. The first part of my story is just a little bit sad. I mean, this happened when I was 15 years old, and it kind of is the baseline for, I guess, who I became as an adult and who I am today. But when I was 15 years old, I was just a very introverted, quiet, kind of a little bookworm type teenager. Wasn't outgoing, I wasn't a party girl, any of that stuff. But what happened was I got sexually assaulted, physically assaulted as well, and it was the most terrifying thing that ever happened to me. It was really just awful. I mean, I never told anybody about it. I didn't tell my mom or any of my friends. I didn't go to the police. I just kind of kept it all inside and compartmentalized it, and then just tried to put it out of my life and tried to, I guess, pretend that it never happened. So, you know, fast forward to my adulthood. I'm married to a terrific guy. His name is Dave. And Dave actually started taking karate lessons one year, several years, many years ago. And even though I'd always been a very physical person, I've always been involved in all different kinds of sports and stuff, karate just didn't seem all that interesting to me. So I just wasn't going to go to the classes with him. But after watching him come home and practice and see how much he was just really enjoying taking these classes, I thought I would go to the dojo with him, watch him work out a little bit, and just see what was going on, you know. And then, so I decided, you know, that doesn't look that hard. I think I could do that, you know, right? I mean, how hard could it be? So I went ahead and I signed up, and then next thing you know, I was the one who was completely crazy about karate, and I just became kind of obsessed with it. So I just loved it, and I trained every day, went to the dojo 5 or 6 times a week, and just really was a very apt student. It just seemed like it was just right up my alley. Who knew, you know? And it really wasn't until years later that I kind of connected the dots, that maybe the reason that I felt such a passion for karate and ultimately for teaching self-defense, I think it kind of linked back to what happened to me when I was 15. I mean, it all makes sense now in retrospect, but when I started karate, it wasn't because I was going to, you know, just be a mean-ass, you know, martial artist or anything like that. You know, I just really enjoyed it, because what I found was that the longer I trained, the healthier I felt, the more conditioned my body became. I became slimmer, I became leaner, I became faster and more confident. My self-esteem grew. So it just had all these benefits. And so, you know, my son actually started training with us, and his name is Charlie, and he was only in junior high at the time, but he stuck with it. And when he got his black belt, he was just starting high school, and I was really super proud of him. But toward the last year of his training, by that point, I really was in it super heavy. I was dragging my son back and forth to the dojo with me, which was a 45-minute commute one way. So he would bring his homework with him after his class, and then he would do his homework at the dojo while I continued to teach 2 or 3 more classes every night. So he was really getting burned out, and I told him, I said, honey, if you just stick with it until you get your black belt, if at that time you want to quit, then I'm cool with it. So he did. And that's what he did. He got his black belt, and then he quit, which was okay. I mean, he learned a lot, and I was grateful for the time that the 3 of us were training together. That was just like, you know, this great period of time in my life that was just one of my favorite times. But, you know, my husband stopped training too. He didn't get his black belt, but he came this close. He only needed 1 more belt, so he almost made it, but he didn't make it. But that's okay, because he did really great, and he learned a lot of really cool stuff. And he supported me for my continuing burning desire to keep going in karate. So I got my 1st degree belt, and that was cool. I was like, yay, you know, I'm a black belt, woohoo. Not that anybody really cares, you know, it doesn't really matter. But then I just kept training and training and training, and years later I got a 2nd degree black belt. And then I kept training and training and training. And one thing the dojo taught me was that this was something that I could do to help other people. to help the children and the women in the class who came in with severe doubt issues in themselves of being able to actually do martial arts, and help them discover that within each of us are seeds of greatness, excuse me. And, that all comes to fruition after hours and hours and months and years of training. You start to realize, that you have developed into a different person, a better person. And so what would be really cool for me is watching these little kids come into class. Maybe their parents signed them up. They didn't really want to be there, and they might just be like super quiet. And they reminded me of, and some of the women too, actually. They'd be like a rose that was just a bud when they first started. But after they start going through the progressions of getting colored belts, moving toward their black belt, with each new belt that they got, you could see them, the flower, the bud was just opening, and they were becoming more and more confident. And it was just the coolest thing. I mean, I just loved that part of it. And so, so then I just started teaching cardio kickboxing. In addition to that, as a little side thing at the dojo, and I mean, that was totally fun. That's when I was in the best shape of my life. I mean, I was lean and mean and cut to the bone. I was really in my best shape. And so I just wear those women out. They'd be like sweats dripping off their hair. But at the end of each cardio kickboxing class, I would teach them like 15 or 20 minutes of cool self-defense stuff. So that was awesome. They loved that, and it was a lot of fun. Of course, I loved it, and I was having a fun time doing it. And then I think kind of the next thing I did was I decided that I wanted to referee martial arts tournaments. So I became certified. I went to national tournaments, got trained how to be a referee. So I started refereeing tournaments, and I had the distinct pleasure and privilege to train with Teru Hayashi, who was the founder of the karate style that I trained in for all those years, Hayashi Ha Shitoru Kai. And he was this little Japanese guy that was built like a little brick house. I mean, this guy didn't speak English, but I did have the opportunity to train with him as a black belt in a big giant room with about 150 other black belts. And I tell you, that was an honor and a privilege. And he's now gone. He passed away several years ago. But I'll never forget those times that I got to train with him. And I was like right in the front row with him. And so he would walk around and he'd correct all the black belts. He'd teach us a new form, a new kata. And when you were down in a deep stance, you had to hold that stance while he walked around between 100 different people, adjusting a foot or this or that. By the time he got back up to the front, your legs were literally just shaking, but you didn't dare move, man. You didn't dare move. So that was just a fun, really cool part of my life during that time. And I just really totally enjoyed that. And one thing I noticed when I was training, I mean, I'd be in the ring and I'd be sparring some big guy, 6'2", 230 pounds. But when you're in the classroom setting in a dojo, the whole idea is not to kick the other person's butt. I mean, we're students training together. So you would still hit each other. You'd still kick each other, but not at full force and full speed. So what I found was really interesting. It's like, I would get kicked or punched, or I would get swept and I'd land up on my ass, and it'd be like, dang, but you don't feel the pain. It's amazing. When you're fighting, you don't feel the pain until after the fight's over. So then you go back down and you sit down, and then you look at your elbow or your arm. There's all these big knots and bruises and cuts, and, and be like, ow, gosh, that really hurt. So, of course, I would take Tylenol, Advil, Aleve, whatever, and get a little bit of temporary relief from that. But that's all it was. And, I would do the ice packs and the heating pads, and I would do like the icy hot gels and different things. I tried all that stuff, and all of it was just a temporary fix. Nothing was a solution. And plus, a bad thing about taking Tylenol, Advil, and Aleve, if you take them every day, what it does is it completely destroys your liver. And my first husband died from liver failure, so I'm very well aware that you need your liver. So taking all those products every day, that just really wasn't the answer for me. And so, of course, my knees hurt, my joints hurt from 15 plus years of training pretty much. Literally daily. It really took it took a lot of havoc on my joints. And so in October of 2016, just a few short months ago, a friend of mine who's also my veterinarian shared with me a product and a couple of product lines that were just fantastic. And so the one that kind of stuck out to me was this product called Relieve. It's a joint relief supplement. It's all natural stuff. It's made in the USA under strict government regulations. And so it's like, go USA. I love stuff made in the USA. But anyway, so I started taking the Relieve, and then I was so pleasantly surprised to find out within 2 weeks, my joint pain was gone. I mean, gone. And plus, I had also typed on a computer and a typewriter back in the day, typewriter, and then computers for like 40 years. So both of my wrists, I had carpal tunnel. And there'll be times where, like I live on a farm, we have a couple horses and lots of animals. And so I need to be able to pick up a 50-pound bag of grain or buckets of water or bales of hay or whatever. And so I was to the point where I was really going to need carpal tunnel surgery. And I didn't want to do it. I didn't want them cutting on my wrist. And it was about that time, it's just so bizarre how these things just kind of fell into place. But it was about that time my friend Paul, who is also my veterinarian, shared these couple of product lines with me. And one of them was this product called Relieve, Joint Relief. So I bought them and I tried them, and oh my gosh, within 2 weeks the pain was gone, like I mentioned. And so I'm a believer, I mean, when you have your own personal testimony and you know for yourself and you see and you feel that this product really is rocking cool. I mean, it's amazing. And so I just became a lifelong user of this product called Relieve. So I do remember too thinking, I wonder if it's really working or if maybe my joints just don't hurt anymore. I ran out one month, a couple months ago, and within actually about 5 days, 4 or 5 days, my wrists and my knees started really hurting again. I thought, wow, I miss my Relieve. So I quickly got online and I ordered some more. And the day that the mailman brought my package, I opened it up and I took a couple right then. And I'm telling you, within the first day or two after getting back on that supplement, the joint problem was gone again. So, okay, I'm a believer, right? So then it occurred to me, I need to share this with people because there are a lot of athletes out there who suffer from joint relief, not just people that are in martial arts and karate, but I mean athletes of all different sports suffer from joint problems. And so do elderly people and just, across the board, there are a lot of people that suffer from joint problems. And I thought, I need to share this with people. So I started this website. It's got, some martial arts tips for self-defense, focused mostly primarily for women. And then you can buy my supplements through my website too. And I'll just do a quick little plug. It's Liz Wilkerson Consulting.company. Just if you wanted to buy some products from me, you can go there and check it out. And it's got some really cool like self-defense tips and videos and stuff and a blog, things like that. So you can learn a little bit of self-defense and you can start feeling better, from joint relief. So if you think about it, our lives really, as we age, our lives start to get robbed of things that we enjoy to do. Like if your knees are hurting so badly that you have trouble going up and down the steps, or you can't keep up with your grandkids if you have any, or children, or maybe you just want to be able to play basketball with the neighbor's kid next door, and you just can't do it because your knees hurt so darn bad. And basically, it just sucks to be so freaking old, But this is something that can help you with that. And I'm here to tell you, I'm living proof that this product is just flat amazing. So I thought, it's my duty as an athlete, as a woman, as a person, to share this with you. So I just wanted you to know that this has just been such an honor and a privilege to be able to provide my story to you. I hope it wasn't too terribly boring. But one of the things that's really cool is that when you become friends with somebody on Facebook or whatever, that person is in your life. And I would like to have you in my life so that we can become friends and I can help you. I can maybe teach you some self-defense stuff, or I can maybe hook you up with some products like some supplements that can help you get your lifestyle back, So, and it's really nice too because there's 100% money back guarantee. The products are made in the USA, and I'm just like, go USA, anything made in the USA, I'm all on that. So anyway, I just want to thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I hope it wasn't too terribly long. And I'll be looking forward to talking to you soon, and maybe we'll connect on a blog or Facebook or whatever. But I wish you all the best, and I just want to thank you again for taking the time to watch my video. Thanks. Bye-bye.